Play Night Local. Come in.
Hey everyone, we are here with Lloyd from the Lloyd Knows podcast, who's joining us in a lovely little casual discussion about music.
Yes,
Lloyd,
everyone.
how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Decent, yeah.
Not too bad.
Bit chilly, but
Yeah, it's very cold over here. It's like been horrible last week, isn't it?
You drinking a Coke right now?
No,
very, very dark beer.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot. It's like 7. Yeah, not beer.
Anytime past 6 in the UK.
Yeah, we have a problem.
Nice. But for everyone that doesn't know, I go by Lloyd Knows, and I have a podcast that I'm bringing back called the Healthy Music Diet Podcast. And our slogan is where we expand your music palette one track at a time. Because I really believe music is the common ground and universal language that everyone can get behind. So I just like to show new music, introduce new different musicians from all over the world, different genres, kind of like a playlist. In short, it's like a playlist, but if a playlist could talk, and that would be the podcast.
That is a beautiful summing up of it. I mean, obviously we met with me on your show, didn't we?
Yeah, like 2 times, yeah.
Yeah, 2 times. Just talked about just a huge variety of topics. It was amazing. Went through everything. Yeah, I've always really liked just the eclectic range of music. Like you've got like on the playlist we're looking at. We were just talking about Serpent with Feet before we got on there.
Yeah. Serpent with Feet, great musician. I like how he's unapologetically himself. Really, also too, besides like Frank Ocean, there isn't really much other musicians that like even just talk about who they really are. And he, even though he's like gay, which doesn't matter, he just sings about it and you wouldn't even like really tell. It's just so good. Everything flows, how he enunciates and go through different verbiage of describing something, like the 4 ethos. That's one other track I like from him, which is so good. And you have to like listen to it a couple times. It's kind of, I don't even know, like Shakespeare, how he comes out with his albums. And like what other
does he produce his stuff?
You know, I should find out. Like I should find out. I don't know.
I think the thing I noticed with Serpent with Feet especially is just like how a lot of the tracks just grow on you. Like the first time you might struggle to like hook onto the melody, and then after like your 3rd or 4th listen, you just can't get it out of your head. It's just so insanely catchy. Just like real growing music.
Definitely. Yeah, that's how I felt with his other tracks.
I think another one that we were especially kind of like had a lot of chemistry with was Duckworth. That's an artist I've really
you were saying
for a
about
long
that just
time.
before,
And that recent release was just so good. Just absolutely.
Yeah, Duckworth. I just loved how he started with his Nowhere project in 2015. That one was okay for me. And then he had I'm Ugly. And then an Extra Ugly mixtape was when he started to like really find his like voice in his artistry. And it just kept going. Then they had The Fallen Man, and then Super Good. When I was doing my podcast, I said this was like the top 3 albums all year I listened to. Like every song coincide perfectly, how it was arranged, the emotion, how clean it was. I'm just like, yo, he gets better every single time. Every project is a better project. And then he dropped his I don't know what it's supposed to mean, SSG8, but the asterisk. I don't know what that's supposed to stand for.
No idea.
But is it? No, it's not straight. But yeah, like he like the 8-song EP or LP project. I remember we were talking to you, said No Chill. You like No Chill, that You're on You, because it kind of gives me Halloween vibes.
Yeah, perfect for October.
Oh yeah,
exactly. And I like his song Link Up Time and Mask Off with Feelings. That's a great track. Like he's a really good artist, and his music videos, beautiful.
I don't know how I pronounce it, but you added MYD or Mud as well. Was it?
Yeah, I don't even know how to pronounce his name.
I have no idea. But he's like a producer I really like at the moment. Did you hear his song with Mac DeMarco?
No, I don't think I did. No.
Oh, it's quite good. He's got that sort of like bedroom pop indie sort of thing going on. He's mixing it with quite commercial dance music. So it's nice to see because he's got so much attention in like literally like one album. And like all the songs are baggers.
Yeah, are you talking about his 2017 project, All Inclusive? I think that has the song this on it. Yeah, that's the one I would say. But like even like Mac DeMarco, I like his music. Does he? I haven't listened to him in a long time.
He hasn't put out something in a while. I think it was like before COVID was the last album he did.
It wasn't a Self Dog, was it? It was
Here Comes the Cowboy.
Yeah.
It was in 2019. I saw him at Glastonbury that year. That was he like released that album and stuff. And then nothing from him. Huh?
How was that?
I've seen him twice. The first time I saw him was in Brixton Academy, I think. And that wasn't too good. It went on for like 2 or 3 hours, and he pulled like a fidget spinner out of his ass. It was really weird. Really weird. And then the second one at Glastonbury, because it was more like he only had 50 minutes that he could perform, he had to go. It was a really like well-contained act with like a few jokes here or there. And his band are really talented. Like they're really good. They sort of definitely add something to the music. He did like jazzy versions of like some of his songs as well. But yeah, since then, nothing really.
Nothing really. True. I feel like a lot of like alternative dream pop artists, they don't always put out a lot of body of work.
No.
Like hip hop, like the atmosphere of current hip hop. I call it like fast food music. Every week there's like a new song by the artist and you just digest it. On to the next song and then the next week. So but like more like dream pop and like R&B, they take more time.
Yeah.
Just like Joey Badass, even though he's hip hop, he's like the mainstream. Like he takes like 2 years to make and formulate an album. Yeah, which you appreciate.
I think a lot of people see Kendrick in the same way though, don't they? Like the man takes he can take like a year or two to release a project, but you're just almost guaranteed to appreciate that project.
It's like 5 years now, isn't it?
Yeah,
since
really.
It's been 5 years.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was ages ago. I was like a different person back then. But yeah, I always find his albums are growers as well. Like even Spin Per Butterfly, I wasn't like crazy about at first, but yeah, every one of them just gets better every year.
There's so much to digest on the albums, aren't there? As well, it's like you almost need that 2-year gap in the actual album to appreciate it properly. Yeah. But on that, carry on.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like an unpopular opinion. To be honest, I'm not that interested in Kendrick or J. Cole anymore.
Oh, really? What is it like a recent thing or?
Wait, say that again.
Is it like a recent thing, like they've dropped off for you? Or?
No, it's been like a while. Like J. Cole, the last project I loved by him was like Born Sinner, like 2012.
Really?
I loved it. Like even his song Forbidden Fruit with Kendrick Lamar on Born Sinner, I love that. I went out to Jamaica. That's all I was listening to. And I used to like Kendrick when I first heard about him when he had the song Alien Girl off of his like mixtape, and then Good Kid, Mad City, loved that. I don't know, just something about it just fell off. I'm just like, I'm like not that interested in interested to see when they're gonna drop. But it's all like it's cool. Like I don't hate them, but it's not something I'm checking out for, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, with Kendrick, it's been like ages since he's done something. So like, yeah, I haven't really been too bothered. But J. Cole released something this year, but I wasn't crazy. Yeah, it was a bit boring, I thought.
Yeah.
I still think Forest Hills was still like absolutely.
Yeah, that's good.
That was still a classic for me. Just some of that like role models, and I just think there are so many good tracks on that. But I completely appreciate, especially. I think mixtapes as well for a lot of rap artists are a way to express like an honesty in themselves that you can't necessarily get across with more commercial music.
Yeah, definitely. I know what you're talking about. Because like even for me, I don't know, it's like the seasons, my music just changes up. like during what is it called? Like March, like February, March, April. I'm more into like EDM because usually that's when like Ultra and Tomorrowland, all of them go.
Yeah.
And then I'm more towards that. And then during the summer, I'm more on my Caribbean, Jamaican, Dominican Republic music, like all over. It's all like my music taste just changes with the season. So then hip hop is sprinkled in throughout. Like it's not really my main go-to genre of music now as I've gotten older and then like listen to a bunch of other tracks, but I do appreciate it. Like whenever new songs come out Friday, I'll check out the new Music Friday playlist just to see. Because to be honest, I'm more into UK hip hop.
Oh really?
Yeah.
There is a lot of shit that comes out. To be fair, yeah, it does keep you entertained.
What have you been listening to then for the last few months in the UK?
I love Heady One.
Oh yeah, he's good.
What's his name? Like AJ Tracy.
Oh yeah, he's big at the moment. Yeah.
He's good.
I like him. Who else? There are some other. I don't know. I wouldn't even really call him a rapper, but his name is like Koji Radical. He's based in the UK, but he's like Nigerian, I believe. So he does a lot of hip hop, but down there. And then I think Benji Flows. I think he's in the UK. Another guy, because he was doing a Boiler Room performance in the UK.
So, okay, Boiler Room's so fucking good, isn't it? Boiler
I want
amazing.
Like is there locations close by you guys? If they have, like,
some of the ones earlier you said, obviously London-based rappers. We're fairly close to, like about an hour train away.
Okay,
but
we get some like the odd ones, not necessarily like UK based, but we had like a Pan Amsterdam played in Margate the other day, and that was pretty fun. Yeah, he's quite a cool kind of composer as well.
Or RD from Brighton. He's like a bit of a cheesy rapper that's come out recently.
Yeah. I think two of the odd ones who are coming up at the moment. Have you heard of Pete and Baz?
Pete and Baz, no.
What about the two old men?
Yeah.
I don't even take them seriously. Are they serious artists?
Yes. Bro, honestly, you can't not.
You should check them out. They're quite.
Oh yeah. I know these guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking love.
It's a serious thing.
Hell yeah.
What do they talk about?
Listen to them and see, mate. They've got bars. Those boys.
Yeah. I thought it was a parody. I thought someone was rapping over them, but it's really them.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got flows. I'll give you that. They can definitely flow.
Probably outbar me, but yeah.
I thought it was comical. But in the UK, I've been told, since I haven't been there yet, they said people in the UK don't listen to hip hop, like American hip hop, like that. It's mainly like UK if you go out. Is that true?
No, I don't know. It can vary. Like there are nights that will do just UK rap. Like it has its own sort of like place. But then I've been out tons of times and they played like a lot of American rap music. I mean, it's going to be very commercial stuff. Yeah, if you hear it out.
Yeah,
so you're not going to get a lot of more independent artists or anything. Whereas you might have that with UK rap, like they come and perform or something like that, clubs or venues.
And is it mainly what is it called? Like EDM house music does that take precedence? Like, is that like the biggest sound really?
It's a weird mix, isn't it? There's a bit of grime in there as well. I think grime's still just such a massive. It was like the biggest development in UK music probably in quite a while, I would say. But yeah, house is still just like it's always been such an ingrained thing in the UK. Even since like the Happy Mondays in like the 90s or whatever. Ever since then, it's just been such a big part of especially like rave culture and stuff.
Oh yeah. So
yeah, I think it's always going to be there, and it just give something people can dance to.
But there's like lots of cool stuff coming out at the moment. Like my mate Ollie was saying about, there's like a lot of in London, lots of like festivals, like South Asian like DJs and MCs and stuff like that. So that's been like a really cool thing that's come out in the UK recently, I think.
Because I definitely want to go to the UK because house music, like 90s house, like with Crystal Waters, Robin S, like Show Me Love, that's what got me like really appreciating music. So anytime I'll hear those keyboard progressions in songs, I don't know, it just brings me back to a time. I'm like, yeah, I love
You can't
that.
not dance to them.
Yeah,
It's just very sort of groovy stuff.
Mhm.
True.
absolutely.
And like, how big is Clean Bandit still? Because aren't they from the UK?
Yeah, they are. They're
Somewhat,
big-ish.
yeah. I think
Is it
the
them?
thing with
I
the
don't know.
I'd say the thing with the
Maybe.
UK is you get a lot of artists that are like big in terms of like they still got a lot of listens, but like not necessarily big in like the public eye. So like they're not necessarily releasing tracks that are like constantly being consumed, like new tracks. It's more just people kind of listening to the old tracks and playing them. Because one thing the UK loves to do is like play a song to death. Like
Oh
the
my
Killer,
god.
Mr. Brightside, the Killers.
Oh,
You
fuck
cannot
off.
go
Oh my
fucking
God.
anywhere without hearing that song
No.
still to this day.
Yeah, I heard it last night at the bars.
Doesn't matter where you are,
People
Mr.
need to get over
Brightside
that.
will be there.
People need to get over that song.
Yeah, like it's like the Earth national anthem. It always comes up.
Yeah. It still plays all the time.
Oh.
Still all the time. Yeah, I've noticed that with like going out in like the 5 or 6 years I've been going out, like proper clubbing and like being able to get in legally and everything. It's just the same playlist. I heard like Drake's One Dance like yesterday. I heard that yesterday.
Oh, so much. Come on, Eileen.
Come on, Eileen is
Classic British
another.
banger, yeah.
Mr. Brightside, Come on, Eileen. They're two of like whatever the Holy Trinity is. I don't know what the last one is.
We don't hear that much unless it's like St. Patty's Day. Come on, Eileen.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Yeah, I love that song. Like, I just want to get rowdy at like a pub.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
just
sort of
like-
all that British people do, really, though.
What,
It's just
get
get
rowdy?
rowdy at a pub and just go, come on, Eileen.
Come on, Eileen.
So, like, I've had that, like, way too many times, that memory.
Oh, I love it.
TikTok.
It really hammers home that this is a British pub.
Mm.
Mr.
We are
Brightside
trash.
banging out, yeah. Not even like the Killers are a British band or anything.
Yeah.
Which is the best thing because, like, where are they from? Is it Las Vegas?
Yeah, Las
I think?
Vegas.
Yeah. So, like, not even like a British band, but the British public have just completely taken them in and just been like, yes, this is our music.
Well, it's funny. They were popular in the UK before they were in America. Like, they signed to a British extension of the label first before the American one or something like that. Because I guess the voice sounded quite British with Hot Fuss.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So, yeah.
What about 1975? How big are they right now in the UK?
Since COVID, I haven't heard much really from them. But a lot of their songs play at like indie nights, like club nights, that sort of thing. Not really in like a commercial space that much. Like their songs will appear on the charts, but they usually have like the power of like an indie act that very often makes it onto the charts, I guess.
Okay.
But I don't hear them much when I go out. I hear a lot of people covering them in the high street though.
It's weird. It's almost like I hear the old 1975 tracks a lot more, despite like a lot of people kind of pushing for the newer albums being like a lot more progressive in a way and a lot more unique. You just still hear things like what Chocolate City,
Chocolate Girls.
Yeah, you just still hear them everywhere. But like all of the more modern stuff, you just don't hear it.
Yeah, it's a shame, really.
And like, what would you describe them as? A pop band? Because I remember in an interview, Matt said he didn't think that he would call them a pop band. Like, would you call them pop?
I mean, they're not like unique in the fact that there's a lot of acts now that just blend genres all the time. And I think, they're a bit pop, a bit rock, but they sort of quite fit into an indie bracket, I would say. Because indie always is like a subgenre of rock, has always been way more welcoming to electronics and stuff like that, I feel like, than the other rock genres. So, I don't know. It feels like a provocative statement, but I feel like indie is just indie pop is like a very safe label to categorize all that they do.
I think in a way it reminds me a bit of like bands like the Postal Service. It's kind of combining, EDM, IDM with pop, and it's like kind of in the same way that post-punk isn't quite punk. I would say like it's almost like post-pop because it's like
post-pop.
It's almost
there we go.
too developed and too focused on not being commercial and kind of exploring ideas with like sonic layering and sound tracking almost, that I think it just can't necessarily be layered like popular pop. I don't think you'd hear anything from like A Brief Inquiry in a club or something,
No,
or like a like karaoke night or something. So,
but to be honest, they're I mean, this is completely off a tangent, but I thought their last album was definitely their best, had their best stuff on it. Maybe not their best all-round album, but
Yeah,
it had the very best moments, I thought.
interesting. I thought this was the epitome of pop for them.
Oh,
Because this
definitely.
all over the place, it was not cohesive at all. They had like the song People where he was just screaming
Oh,
and he had like the long hair like on his like super rock and roll, and then he had other songs that felt more beachy, like island vibe. Like he had like one track, and then he had one for me. I was getting kind of like country. I'm just like, yo, this is all over the place. It's not like the 1975 self-titled album where it was like, okay, this is like indie pop. That it was like for like
yeah.
the young teenage girls that okay, I know where they're going. And then they dropped the what is it called? A Brief Inquiry, yeah, into the online relationships. I enjoyed that album a lot. Mhm.
That's probably their best statement as an album, like their most cohesive, like every song is good, paints a very good narrative, all keeps within a certain textural instrumental framework that's quite good.
I mean, something I heard a lot of the time was people were like comparing it to OK Computer in a really weird way, and I was just like, I don't think that comparison like
I hate that
fits
comparison
so much, but
they're both
yeah,
they're both good at it in different ways.
yeah. I mean, I don't see the comparison myself.
No.
I think
Very different.
I think it almost fits kind of like an alienated perspective where like it's kind of like
technology.
despite being pop based, it's almost like outsider music in the way it like appeals to people who aren't necessarily like, you know, not the most popular, but people who are kind of fitting in the bracket of what is like considered like normal, I would say. It's kind of appealing to everyone in a way.
And how big, I was always curious about this. How big is Rina Soriyama in the UK?
Oh, I love Rina Soriyama, honestly.
Yeah, I love her.
Amazing.
Her EP, but like supposedly she's not signed. Well, she's signed now to like Dirty Hit, Matt's label. But before that, she was like an independent artist, and I'll see her on covers of magazines, modeling, getting placements in music. I'm like, yo, this is like Chance the Rapper when they say I'm independent, and usually commercial artists get these placements in all of these big publications. So I'm like, oh, and she's gonna be in the next John Wick. So
Really?
I'm just like, how is she getting all of this and she's supposed to be independent?
You reckon the industry plant thing?
Oh, I was about to mention that as well.
Yeah.
The plant talk.
And then I was surprised she went to Oxford.
Really?
Probably quite well connected then, to be honest.
Started making music.
I feel like there's just a lot of artists that are kind of industry plants, so it's kind of like a reductive term.
I think plant is almost like a label for someone who's good at almost marketing themselves and being able to talk to like the right people and connect with the right people in the right way.
I guess that makes sense. But then it's also like a lot of people just come from backgrounds that you know someone who knows someone. Not everyone, obviously, but I feel like a big part of the music industry, you have to be quite connected to start off as successfully as a lot of them seem to do.
Like now when you're explaining it, I feel like industry plant is just the old way of doing business. Because back in the day, there was gatekeepers. There wasn't like YouTube, Spotify. People find you and just push you and try to develop you. Compared to you just do it yourself, then you get a hit and then you sign. But yeah, I just feel like an industry plan is just an older way of just doing business. They'll just develop you like A&R, like doing a real A&R.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It doesn't feel like that cynical a thing. Like it's a practice that's existed forever, really.
Yeah, because like I think in hip hop, the first industry plant was Rory, the guy that sings. You remember him, Rory, this black guy with a hat. Oh, what's this song? Let me find it real quick.
Is it just called Rory on Spotify?
Yeah, I think that was his name. God's Whisper was his like first like big song.
Don't think I know. Oh yeah.
Let's have a look. Oh, fair enough. This is 2015. He sort of started.
Yeah. I think he's definitely. Yeah, actually, I do know that one. That's a I think that's more of a modern kind of label for plant, isn't it? Like as
Yeah.
compared to, it's like a modern term, I would say as well. I think labels of plants almost have gone back even to like, you know, Lady Gaga's early stuff.
Yeah.
Because even back then, people were like, oh, not plant, 'cause plant didn't really exist as a term, but like, you know, this person's clearly just like a
Industry
stage
baby.
musician. Yeah. I think
like
it's something that gets labelled to like any upcoming artist. You know, Billie Eilish has been labelled a plant.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga, like I said, Lord's been labelled a plant, and Chance, like you said as well, such a massive example of people kind of labelling an artist.
What do you think of the Chance the Rapper album?
No comment.
We don't talk about that
We
one.
don't talk about that. Sorry, I interrupted you from a way more intellectual comment.
Oh no, because like on the topic of Lord, I have to say I love Diplo because he found so many artists. Like he put on a bunch of other. He has Major Lazer, his like Jamaican alter ego group, and I like that. Yeah, I forgot all the other artists, but I remember watching an interview and he talks about all the people that he found and put on. So I'm like, I could respect Diplo and everything, and now he's venturing off into Latin music with his thing, and it doesn't feel like he's just trying to exploit the culture. It's like he really loves music and he's jacking it with like all the Latin artists, just having a good time, which I really love. Like he's super multifaceted as an artist, EDM, house music, and then just all over the place. Yeah, which I really do like about Diplo.
He's a great like taste maker. Like he's had quite a long career, isn't he?
Yeah, taste. Yeah,
he's going on there now, isn't he? He's just really developing. I think it's interesting as well how he's kind of like you said about not jumping genres so much, but like kind of moving into a different space, especially like a cultural space, and not even doing it in kind of a very, you know, provocative way. He'll just kind of become, you know, sit there in the culture and enjoy it and kind of become part of it and learn from the culture itself, as opposed to kind of trying to, you know, rather take it and force it into his music,
exploiting it for one song or something like that, or like
there's an actual appreciation.
Yeah, because like Drake does that a lot. Take your sound, and sometimes when he will put like the big artists from those culture and genres in his song, he'll just steal the whole flow, the vibe to it, and just make it his own.
The drill thing annoyed me a bit. Like he just sort of seemed to just engage with drill for like 5 years, and he's just given that up completely. Like on Loverboy, there's like no drill song at all.
Like that album was just a lot of throwaway tracks. It felt super archaic. It felt, some of it was from it's not Thank Me Later, his first one. I forgot. His first project. It just sounded like old 2014 Drake. And then somewhere like from it, I can't even remember. Like if you're reading it, it's too late. Like, it was just all different tracks. Like it never felt all the same. It kind of felt like when Lil Wayne dropped the Carter 5 or Carter 6.
Oh yeah.
But it was supposed to drop like 5 years ago.
So
it felt really outdated. Like that's how I would describe COB. It felt super outdated. Like, come on, like this did not feel brand new with the times.
I mean, even at this point in the year, the two biggest almost rap albums I think that have released this year are like, you know, Certified Lover Boy and Donda. And what are your opinions on those two albums? You've kind of said a lot about Certified Lover Boy, but what do you think kind of came out on top of those two, and almost why?
Like Donda was more experimental and more clean, I would say, and abstract. Just how the melodic of how like Kanye and his producers made a lot of the tracks. It felt like you're going through a journey, especially when you listen to it like with like in your earphones. Like okay, you could really feel it. It's kind of like Serpent with Feet. Like some of the tracks were like, okay, I'm going through like a journey. But like CLB was super safe. It was just consistent. It was like, it's nothing too crazy. Like it was a safe thing. You know what you're gonna get. But Donda, he was swinging for the fences. Like he was trying to home run. He might strike out on a couple tracks, and then he'll just hit a home run on some other tracks too. But I didn't like how he never put the featured artists on the projects.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't.
noticed that. That felt a bit shady, to be honest.
Exactly.
It's so important to credit artists.
Because the features were like some of the greatest bits of that album. Like, I thought that was the best features selection he's done in like probably 10 years, maybe something like that. I thought it was such a great collection, and yeah, not even listing him.
Yeah.
And the Globber, what was it? The
The Glob Glow Gab Galab. Now that's a feature I can get behind, that one.
Oh, I heard about
It's
that.
a classic. Just
Oh,
what was it? Kanye taking an internet meme, and who was it? It was Kid Cudi was originally meant to have a feature at the end of one of the tracks, and instead he just replaced it with
a shitpost meme,
a literal shitpost. Just completely struck one of Cudi's verses, which was just absolutely insane. But I think that, again, that's just the staying power of Kanye, isn't it? He makes these kind of left field decisions, sticks by them, and it's almost in a way quite, you kind of enjoy it. It's quite unique.
Internet connection is unstable. Is that all good?
Oh, that was mine. I'm good now.
That's good. That's good. Just checking. I wouldn't want to remove that gold.
Mm-hmm.
But
on to Kid Cudi. I love his album. This one grew on the old album. And I feel like people pass it by. Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying. Oh, I just keep listening to this. Like, I used to love a couple of the songs, but his song Kitchen on it is such a masterpiece. With this, like, the saxophone. No, it's not the saxophone. The violin on it. Oh, such a beautiful project. Flight at First Sight, By Design, Frequency. Just like this whole project was just. I wish I enjoyed it when it first came out, because that's how I felt with like Watch the Throne. When everyone was just hyped, like always talking about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go find some other music. I'm gonna be talking about this. And then 2 years later, when I was in high school, I was just like bored. I just sat down in my bed, listened to the whole Watch the Throne through. Even though I heard all the songs, but I really took time. I was like, wow, this is really something special. It was just a whole masterpiece. Watch the Throne. I was like, wow. I was like, oh my God, these songs are on it. I thought they were like different, like from like either Jay-Z or Kanye's other projects. I was like, yo, I totally forgot about these tracks. Like none of it was a miss. Like, yeah.
I think a big problem sometimes, especially with just like public, people in the public listening to music, is almost overexposure, where stuff gets just so massively overhyped by like mates and the media that you just end up being like, well, I'm not going to listen to this. I'm going to go find my own music, in a way. And I
just hear too much about it.
I think the thing that really struck it for me, not even in music, but in TV recently, was the Squid Game. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Oh, yeah.
That new Netflix series. It's literally everywhere. Everybody is talking about it. And I haven't seen it yet, but it's one of those things where everyone starts talking about it to such an extent that you're just like,
get away
I don't know about this right now,
you need to, like, I don't watch TV series as much because I'm just like busy, but I literally spent the 6 hours, broke it up at night, and then in the morning, afternoon, it was worth it.
Yes.
I'm gonna get there.
It's like the best show I've seen in like years. Honestly, it's so good. It's really good. It's why Netflix was such a big innovation in the first place, I feel like, because it just brings these TV shows that people don't generally watch in the mainstream. Like, 10, 20 years ago, you wouldn't have got like a South Korean show being seen by that many people, I feel like. And it's just brilliant. I just think it's really good. There's such a great place for dramas and thrillers in general.
Yeah, and that's what I like about Netflix, because there's a lot of Korean movies and stuff coming on, but I'm surprised they haven't made it to like the big box where you actually go to the theaters. Like everyone loves it on Netflix and all these other streaming platforms, but for some reason, no one ever took the bet to say, let's just bring it to the movie theaters and see if we can pull an even bigger audience.
That was literally, I think the only one of like recent note is really Parasite, isn't it? I would say that has been the biggest kind of winner in Asian cinema, especially in the West.
Yeah,
recently.
Probably the biggest.
And I mean, saying nothing on that film, that film's absolutely astounding. An incredible director. But I just think there's so much good stuff out there, and in a way, it's good streaming services have like you said, noticed that, and they're actually bringing it to the Western culture as
and
well.
to be fair, that Squid Game, it does have a lot of social commentary that or what were you saying? Parasite, yeah, it is similar social commentary. I think you'll like it. Just wait for the hype to die down for like a week, and then give it a
week, and then get on it.
Because I'm dressing up as it for Halloween, and you need to know what I'm actually dressed as. So.
Wait, have you seen Train to Busan?
Yes, that's one of my favorite films. I've seen the animated prequel as well, and both are absolutely astounding.
Yeah, okay. Because they have a part 2 also.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all right. And then, what's another one? Yeah, I can't even think about.
I mean, have you seen the series Sweet Home? That's another kind of, an adaptation, and that astounded me. It's kind of like a kind of more psychological horror series about monsters in an apartment building, but just again really, really well done. And when you see so many kind of Western horror films, a lot of them kind of blend into one in a way, but just seeing an actual kind of either be it Korean, Japanese, Chinese, any kind of culture, different cultures' opinion of what horror should be, it's such a unique vision. It's just really nice to see something different.
No, yeah, definitely.
Nice. And on to movies that we're talking about. I can't wait to watch the new James Bond movie.
It's out at the moment, isn't it? It's
just come out like
UK,
2 days ago, I think, 3 days ago.
Oh, in the UK it came out already?
Yeah.
Okay, it's supposed to come out this Friday in the
really?
US. Yeah.
Oh, they're behind. Yeah. I've heard good things. I mean, everyone who I know who's gone to see it has said it's pretty good. It's not quite Skyfall, but apparently still very, very enjoyable. So
okay, yeah, I can get behind that because he's like my favorite superhero. I know he's not a superhero, but he's like better than Batman in my opinion. Suave, like saves the world with MI6. Like, come on, you can't beat James Bond. He's the greatest superhero in my opinion.
Grounded in humanity as well, that's the whole point of him, isn't it? Just an actual person, as opposed to some superhero, some superpowered individual. I like that. It brings it back to somewhat reality, I guess.
Ish.
Yeah. Apart from when they're wearing the razor rimmed hats and walking on the moon.
Yeah, maybe not those ones.
And like bringing it back to music with movies, tying it in. What are the soundtracks? Like, what are your thoughts on soundtracks recently for like movies or whatever shows?
I'm a big fan of the soundtracks that Trent Reznor from 9 Inch Nails has been doing. He's done some amazing stuff. Did The Social Network, which was one of the best soundtracks of that decade, I felt.
Did you do Gone Girl with Atticus Ross?
Yeah, he did. He did Gone Girl as well. I haven't listened to that one too much, but he did Soul, the Pixar film.
Yeah.
Which I thought was like it's quite weird. Pixar picking the guy that did
the downward spiral.
Yeah, the downward spiral. Like that is crazy. But he's a really good. Him and Atticus Ross are a really good soundtrack duo. But I like a good soundtrack. Yeah, I would say.
I mean, I've been listening to. I listen to a lot of because I'm quite big into like gaming and stuff. I listen to a lot of game soundtracks, and a big one for me was the Red Dead Redemption soundtrack. It was such a big game itself, but kind of you've got some really interesting artists on there. Arca for one did a track for it that I really, really still enjoy to this day. And I've been listening to a lot of that. The Nier Automata soundtrack as well was fantastic. Just there's so much good stuff out there, and I think it's amazing how more people nowadays are actually listening to soundtracks independently. Because I think there are so many good songs on soundtracks that just like fall under the actual like mainstream media.
Definitely. Like I used to play video games a lot. I still do, but not as much anymore. But from growing up, I would say the first thing that came to mind was Shaun White snowboarding. That was so beautiful. Yeah, like Modest Mouse on it, Metro Station, bunch of other like indie. Everything just fit the whole thing about snowboarding. It was so good. The soundtrack on Shaun White snowboarding.
That reminds me of SSX Tricky. Have you played that?
Yeah,
another snowboarding game with a killer soundtrack. There was so many good songs in there.
The sports games in the early 2000s, hell, like fucking Tony Hawk's.
Oh my god,
banging soundtracks. Some of them
dope.
were just mad.
And then WWE SmackDown versus Raw 2007. If you played it, that sound crazy. That was the craziest soundtrack. Yeah, so good.
What about recent films? Have you got any opinions on any soundtracks recently, or games? For that matter?
I haven't been playing. I've been like busy doing like other things. So
Mm.
I haven't been really focusing. Squid Games was like the first time in a long time that I sat down and actually watched something.
Yeah.
Or even video games too. So I just been, I don't know, I just been like out of it for like soundtracks per se, but I'm trying to get back into it.
That's an odd soundtrack for that one. But some of it's good.
Mm.
I'm just trying to think of another. Can't really think of any soundtracks I've like binged recently. Don't think.
I just get, I mean, again,
You're video
games.
yeah.
I get obsessive. Like Yakuza, like the whole series of that just has some really interesting combination of like dubstep and a classic kind of Eastern Asian music and riffing like punk guitars and stuff. I think there's some good stuff out there, and like I'm a big fan of anime and shit. Like I watch a lot of that.
You weeb.
Yeah. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. There's a lot of fantastic soundtracks out there for that as well. And
I love that one. Anime soundtracks. I have like playlists on it for like my childhood anime soundtracks.
OP playlists. They're the best. So hype.
Like, did you see Attack on Titan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Honestly, that last season blew me away.
Did y'all read the manga to finish up the series?
No, I'm gonna
my
get
sister
around to
read the manga.
Really?
Actually. Yeah, she read it. She's a huge fan. She felt betrayed by the last season, apparently. She doesn't like to talk about it anymore. Apparently a character died that she loved. Or something.
Personal war wound.
Yeah,
carrying that around for life.
Yeah, she still brings it up, man. Like it really affected him.
I just didn't like the way they ended it, in my opinion.
Yeah, apparently it's a bit rushed or like anticlimactic or something like that.
Yeah, like they rushed it, so I was like, come on. It ended like that, so lackluster.
I think it's actually interesting how, especially things like we were saying with Squid Game coming across popular, it's almost like anime itself and like Asian culture is just becoming more prevalent in the West, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys think the same.
Yeah, streaming culture, definitely.
Yeah, like with Twitch and stuff. Like now we're in like the golden age for like anime and video games. Well, I take that back for video games because every video game now is so incomplete that they're always in updates to like fix it.
Yeah, DLC.
Yeah, because like on PS2 and like PS2 and like Xbox, you had to have a polished game because there's no updates coming. And 360, they started in the PS3. They started, all right, we can half-ass build it and then build it up later. Because like Cyberpunk was like the end. Like, okay, this is why we need to polish up the game because Cyberpunk is playable.
Yeah, what was this? Well, there was just tons of glitches to that game. Wasn't it?
That game just came out completely broken. Just like,
oh really?
For 90% of the players on PC, especially, it was just unplayable.
Oh really?
Things were disappearing from the world. You'd walk and fall through the world. Tell you what, though, game had an absolutely incredible soundtrack.
Oh really?
Again, yeah, talking about soundtracks, absolutely astounding and really popular artists like Help, Shoo Shoo. You had 100 Gex on there.
Oh, that's interesting.
Just like a lot of kind of oddball artists come together. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Very odd soundtrack, but really fun. And like again, I think that's just really cool that artists like that are being embraced by the mainstream.
Oh yeah, 100%, definitely.
I mean, speaking about music and what's been coming up, I think talking about kind of what would it be called? Electropop, vapor pop, kind of hyper pop. Stuff like that's really coming up. 100 Gex, Charlie XCX, Dylan Brady as a producer. I think that's if anything, I don't know if it's past now, but I think that was going to be the next big genre in music almost.
Daniel King,
I mean, hey, just keep pushing it. Go to like the pubs and the Reddit boards, Twitch streams. Like get some Twitch streamers to play it. Because now the MCA can't strike it if you let them have the privilege to play your music while you play.
Have they sorted that now? Because I know on Twitch that was such a major issue, wasn't it? Just even seconds of music causing like permanent bans.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that bad.
Stuff. Yeah.
I heard something actually about there was a recent update to Twitch like a few months ago that was really bad for musicians, but people that like make music on Reddit specifically, I'm not sure what it was, but even if you cover a song, you could get like an immediate ban or something like. It was something like that, which is a bit restrictive to creative expression. But you know,
no bueno, no bueno. That's not cool. Because now Twitch is getting into their maturity level of like being in business, and now the music industry's coming to them like they came to YouTube. Because people used to just post stuff back when YouTube was like less than 5 years old, and then as they got older, the music industry now is like hitting people with copyright infringements. So it's like now Instagram is slowly doing that too. Like one of my videos that I made back in the day, like they flagged it like 3 months later. Like
really?
Universal. Yeah.
It's just stupid.
Like, wow.
It's just silly.
I know. I'm just like, I'm not making money off this. I'm promoting one of your artists. Like, why are you flagging it?
It's a bit of a weird wasteland for musicians we are currently in, isn't it? What do you do? But well.
You make a soundtrack. That's the answer.
Make a soundtrack. Yeah.
Make a soundtrack and promote on Reddit.
There is an artist I know actually that is doing quite well from just doing soundtracks. To be honest, yeah. I
know there's money in it. I think it's just it's a difficult market to crack into soundtracks, isn't it? So you've got to almost fit a scene so perfectly. And it's not like, you know, releasing a track not related to some other form of media where it's completely in your head and you can picture it yourself completely and get that across in the music. You've got to fit someone else's vision. So I think that's probably why soundtrack artists are paid so much almost.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it's so much money behind the movies too. So like they can overpay for the music just to the whole thing. Yeah, so it's way more lucrative on the stream, like besides like streams, just to get the money, compared to you just trying to put a song on Spotify. Now you're gonna have to try to get 10 million just to make some money from how low the CPM is on Spotify.
I cashed my first check from my Spotify streams like about a year ago or something like that. It was like cool. 50 quid or something, which was all right, but that's like years of shit, man. Which is quite
like Spotify on the check.
Huh?
Did it say like when the check came, did it say like Spotify on it?
It's more like it's sent through like a third party vendor. So in my case, it's DistroKid. So I get from there, you know, this money comes out. I still got to pay them to have the songs on there in the first place. So it doesn't really work out as much, but you know, you do it for the passion apparently.
Exactly.
That's the problem with Spotify though. It's like everyone uses it. So it is the platform you need to be on. Yeah. But putting yourself on that platform, you are just almost actively losing money because you're just not gaining it. And we constantly just promote Bandcamp because I think, you know, things like Bandcamp and SoundCloud are so important because it's almost like a direct way of supporting an artist. I think it's just so important. But then again, I don't think a lot of big artists do really use SoundCloud and Bandcamp. Maybe something about the image doesn't necessarily help. So I think sometimes they come across as
people just go for a big streaming service. So like if you want to be heard by just a general group of people, you would have to use it. I mean, Bandcamp and SoundCloud have their communities, don't they? They have like very particular people.
SoundCloud died. They had their thing up to like 2018. I would say, like back in the day, every artist was posting on SoundCloud, but messed up because they made it free for so long. Now you're trying to put a premium service in. No one's gonna want to pay for it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Like they messed up because they were in the lead above Spotify and Apple Music. Like even like all the art, like Trippie Redd, Tory Lanez, a lot of people came up through SoundCloud. And then because they weren't making money, so then they were trying to figure out a way to make money, and it just never worked out. So now that everyone moved to Spotify, and I would say now because what is it called? SoundCloud's like algorithm to find new artists was beautiful back in the day. That used to be all I would listen to music on. Now I would say Spotify just blew them out the water. Like their recommendations are so good now.
Well, what are you getting on Spotify? I mean, every Friday you're getting a release radar. Every Monday you're getting a Discover Weekly, and then every time you click on an artist, you're getting related artists. You know, so you're constantly encouraged to go out and find new artists. Well, actually, no, I would say the opposite. You're not encouraged to go out and find new artists because it's almost presented there for you.
Yeah.
I think in a way that's also good because, you know, so there's definitely some artists who I wouldn't say would have come up if they hadn't had that kind of way of promoting and discovering.
Yeah, it's definitely a good way for you as a small artist to get out there, I think.
Yeah, like you're gonna have to get on like a couple playlists. Because that, I think, majority of people's, I think, like 60-70% of their streams are from like playlists, placements. And did you hear about Spotify's new feature called Enhance?
No, I've not.
Like, if you hit the button Enhance, it will add songs into your playlist.
Really?
Yeah, or randomly populate songs and put them in different places.
What the fuck?
So it's almost like reading your kind of listening habits and developing your playlist through that. That's a little weird. That's a little. I kind of like the idea of that, but at the same time, I don't know. You know, it feels a little bit intrusive, doesn't it?
Enhance just feels like a modern Black Mirror digital word, like enhance your listening habits or something like that. It's just weird. Oh my god! I'm gonna press it and see what happens. I'm gonna do it. Oh my god!
You've got him going on the.
That's weird. It just like adds like just songs in between and like, oh my god, that was so quick. That freaked me out.
And I think it refreshes daily too. So those two songs that get populated in.
That's a really good DJ hack. Like just,
who needs to make playlists when you could just shuffle?
Yeah, just algorithm. Just fucking algorithm.
It's mad.
Like, to be honest, it's been, as we're coming towards the end of however the fuck long we've been talking, it's been great. It's been great talking to you again. Obviously, we haven't chatted for like a couple of weeks, have we?
Yeah, we've been scheduling it and everything. Has the beer hit you? How many deep are you guys?
Huh?
One. How many beers have you drank?
You're a bit more than me.
I've had a couple. I've had a busy day, but I'm doing okay.
I've been a good boy today. This is my one. But
like, what was it, Guinness?
Huh?
Guinness? No. It was a hobgoblin.
A hobgoblin?
A hobgoblin, yes. Very weird. It's IPA. It was a ruby beer, so another weird offshoot of just normal drinking. I'm quite into my odd beers. I drink kind of a lot of weird stuff. I use an app called Untapped. It's just like an odd beer rating app, but it's just kind of interesting to. I think nowadays a lot of people are quite into just generally labeling and writing down what they consume, especially with media, and in a way, drinking beer has become that. It's just a way of categorizing and seeing what you enjoy. I definitely enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I was a fan of it. It went well.
But I definitely want to hop back on, and we could do like music news and time. Yeah, I'm down to come back on.
Sweet, that'd be perfect.
We'll make it a regular thing.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I really do, because I want to get back on my podcasting and everything. I miss it. I just been busy. My anxiety has been killing me. I just miss talking about music and everything.
Well, I think this will be up soon. I mean, we're recording this whenever, just so anyone.
When are we recording this? Which day is it?
It's the 3rd of October. So yeah, it'll be up fairly soon. Yeah, we'll try and add it as part of like a segment on every episode. I think that'd be quite good.
Awesome. I like that.
Fantastic.
Well, until next time, Lloyd.
All right. Thank you, Daniel and Angus. Have a good night. It's 5 hours ahead, so it's 8, right?
It's just 7.
Yeah, I know the world, like, we got to be coordinated. I don't know. I feel like we're time traveling at this point.
Get to this point, we're going to be ringing you, be like, it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, facts. All right, then. Well, have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, you too, man.
Take it
have
easy.
a good one.
Bye.
Nice.